Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Passage again today. My name is Jim Merle, and I'm going to start out today by sharing with you a little bit of an experience I had over the course of the last few days of last week and over the weekend that turned out to be pretty disturbing to me and really kind of got me down in the dumps. Okay, I'll be honest with you about it. Probably won't really matter to you, but maybe you'll at least sympathize or empathize with me over this story. Now, here's how it all started. I was actually standing in this exact same place. I believe it was last Thursday, a week ago last Thursday, standing in this exact same place, filming a video. The topic of that video that day happened to be coming from Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 3. And the title of the video is God Sees, God Cares, and ultimately God knows. That's what we were trying to talk about on that day. And I had my paper copy of my Bible in my hand. I invited you to do the same. And shortly after I finished up that video, my plans for the day were to go ahead and record one of my transplant related videos. And because it was a beautiful day outside, I went ahead and just kind of laid my Bible off to the side on the kids' playhouse out of the camera frame here, laid my Bible off to the side and filmed that transplant video, lickety split. Everything went smoothly. Grabbed my camera, grabbed my equipment, went back in the house, edited the videos, and moved on with my life. That's basically what happened on that day. And then I woke up the next day with plans to film yet another video, but it had actually been storming overnight, all night long. It had kind of thundered and lightning, and we'd had a ton of rain, not a severe storm, but at least it was a good storm that night. And so I determined on that day, that second day at least, I said, I can't really film out there in the area where I've been filming, in this area in front of the pastures. And so I decided I'll just film up here on the back porch. And I decided in my mind, why don't we talk about the storms of life from Mark chapter 4, based on the fact that it stormed overnight. That's what I determined to do. And at the very beginning of that video, as I was mentioning the fact that the weather had really changed, we went from like 72 degrees to 44 degrees, from sunny to rainy, I held up my tablet at that time, a little iPad that I have a Bible app on. I held that up and I made a point. I said, I don't bring my printed copies of my Bible out when it rains. And so I got my tablet today. And I emphasized that. I moved on with life. That was it. Little did I know, at the very moment that I was seated on the back porch filming that video, talking about the storms of life, boasting is a key word, about how I never bring my Bibles outside in the rain. Little did I know. You can grab your Bibles, whether it's a paper copy or in my case today, a digital copy. My paper Bibles do not come out when it's raining. My actual brand new, newly bound at least, $300 some odd Bible was actually laying out in the rain, getting ruined that day, completely ruined. And this is a Bible I'd really looked for a long time. It was a certain text, it was a certain print quality. It was the dream Bible for me. It was a large New Testament, bigger than this one, bigger than your hand, a large New Testament. I looked everywhere for it, finally found it. And even though it was in kind of a bad state, I sent it off to a binder, Frost Bible Rebinding up in Washington. Great friend of the program, Jeremiah Payne, does those. And he beautifully rebound that Bible. Very, very, very high quality leather. Everything about it was leather, the inside pages, everything was perfectly, it was just awesome. He hand stitches everything. He's got custom printing on it. It was a dream Bible. I'd had it since October. Little did I know that was the Bible that was laying out of the rain while I was doing that second video, getting completely ruined. So I found it, I think on Sunday afternoon, a few days later, happened back up here in the same area. There laid my Bible on top of the playhouse, completely ruined. It's gone. I saved the leather cover off of it. I don't know what I'll ever do with it in the future, but it is shot. And so that got me to thinking about a context that we could discuss today. And that one comes from Proverbs chapter 27. So if you want to grab your Bibles, if you are daring enough to have a printed copy like I am again today, or a digital copy, do it. But Proverbs 27 and verse number 1. Notice what this verse says. I'm reading from the King James today because my new King James is toast. It's gone. But the King James says, "Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth." Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. I would probably change that up a bit based on what I just told you, that story, which I'm now going to use that that as an illustration for us, I would probably say don't boast about tomorrow, but you better not boast about yesterday either. I bragged on that second day. I never leave my Bibles outside, and yet my precious Bible, my precious, wonderful, newly rebound Bible, highly priced Bible, worth millions to me, at least in the way that I used it, it was gone. And that's the thing about life. You and I should never boast. We should never brag. We should never be proud. And that's a Bible word I'll mention again in a moment about any situation in life when it comes to us as finite human beings. Because you and I, all of us, we will make mistakes. We will stumble. We will fall. We will fail. We will do things that in some cases, if it involves sin, could even, for the time at least, separate us from our God. And we need to be cautious that we never brag or boast as if nothing could ever go wrong, or nothing could ever happen, or no problem, no issues could ever arise, because the truth is the life that we live in here is just that. It is life. It is daily, temporal life. And anything that is temporal, including ourselves, that's exactly what it is. It's just temporal. It's not going to last. It's not going to be forever. It will not always be as it is. And sometimes things will occur that will throw us off base. Now, is me losing that Bible, is that the worst thing that's ever happened in my life? Why, no. I mean, even though I'm still kind of teary-eyed about it, to think about it, not literally, but almost. And even though I'm upset, the Bible's gone, okay? It's in my past. I've already reached out to Jeremiah and said, hey, I'm going to be looking for another one. I may send that up to you. But that's in the past. But the thing is, oftentimes in life, you and I can be guilty of what I call those famous last words. Just like me, I never leave my Bible in the rain. Oh, yes, you do. You did it yesterday. Just like me, sometimes I'll say, I never get sick. Every time I've ever said that in life, I've had the flu, a cold, or COVID within 3 days. And when it comes to sin, never, ever, ever, listen carefully, never, ever, ever boast about your inability to sin. God lets us know. He says it in several ways, in several places, but I'm most mindful of 1 John. Looking at chapter 1 several different times, he talks about the fact that all of men sin, and when we sin, we don't need to be looking at God and saying to God that we never do. If we claim that we've never sinned in our life, John tells us, John 1, verses 7 through 9, not only do we lie to ourselves, we make God a liar. The truth is not in us. And so don't boast about your inability to make a mistake or your inability to sin. Don't boast about that. Don't brag about these physical things in life that you have, because those physical things, they may not always stand as they are. And I need to learn that lesson as readily as anyone. Again, the Bible, it's gone. It means nothing. It's over and done. I move on with life. I brought out my old copy. It's old reliable and it's here today. But it's just something to consider. Boast not about tomorrow, because thou knowest not what a day may hold. Stay faithful, my friend.